Thailand's parliament is debating a censure motion today against the country's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, which could result in a no-confidence vote against her. Ms. Paetongtarn has been in office since last August, and the opposition says she's shown herself to be, in their words, untrustworthy to continue as Prime Minister. Saksit Sayasombat with more from Bangkok.
This is a rather rare sight. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra facing the lawmakers in Parliament. She took office in last August, and in the last 6 months in office, she's only appeared twice in the Assembly. The first time was during the customary policy speech after being sworn in, the second last month for question time. And she answered only one question on her government's ongoing crackdown against scam centers in neighboring countries, before quickly leaving to tend to other matters. It was more than 5 months between these two appearances. This week, she's coming into the House for a third time in their premiership, and it could become a lot more uncomfortable for her. The opposition has summoned the Prime Minister for a censure debate, followed by a no-confidence vote. Censure debates and no-confidence votes are not uncommon here. Plenty of these events have taken place in Thai Parliament. The opposition likes to use that as a tool in order to rattle the government and also showcase the alleged failings of cabinet ministers to the point that even if they survive the no-confidence vote, they are so tainted that they would be replaced in the next cabinet reshuffle. What's unusual, though, this time is that only the Prime Minister is being targeted in a no-confidence vote and no one else. And according to the opposition leader of the largest opposition party, the People's Party, Nathapong Panyawut, there's a specific reason for that.
วันนี้เราเชื่อว่าทุกๆปัญหานั้นนะครับเกิดจากตัวนายกรัฐมนตรีเองที่ไม่สามารถควบคุมเสียงของพรรคร่วมรัฐบาลได้และเกิดจากการจัดตั้งรัฐบาลผสมพันธุ์ข้ามขั้วแบบนี้จึงเป็นที่มาที่พรรคร่วมฝ่ายค้านนะครับเราเล็งเห็นว่าไม่มีประโยชน์ที่จะอภิปรายรัฐมนตรีเป็นรายบุคคลนะครับเราควรที่จะอภิปรายที่ตัวนายกรัฐมนตรีเพียงแต่เพียงผู้เดียวเพราะปัญหาทั้งหมดนั้นอยู่ที่ตัวนายกรัฐมนตรีที่จะต้องเป็นผู้ตอบชี้แจงคนเดียวเท่านั้นครับ
And there are a lot of problems that the opposition is blaming the Prime Minister for. Now, this is the original motion that they have submitted to the House Speaker, and it says that Thailand's youngest Prime Minister has, quote, demonstrated conduct that makes her untrustworthy to continue the position. According to them, the 38-year-old lacks, quote, leadership and maturity, and they also accuse her of severely failing in governance, neglecting corruption in her administration. And also, finally, they also accuse her of allowing her father, the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, to, quote, direct and manipulate important national affairs, and herself that she would be acting as a puppet Prime Minister. Now, the mention of Mr. Thaksin itself was highly controversial because Parliament rules forbid from anybody mentioning anyone who's not in the room to defend themselves. So, after a lot of back and forth, the opposition has decided to update the motion, removing Thaksin's name and replace it with a family member. And they have also said that they're going to refrain from invoking his name during the censure debate. Since his return from self-exile in 2023, Thaksin has become a very visible figure in Thai politics again, not only appearing on the campaign trail in local elections, but also musing out loud what policies her daughter's government should be doing. Prime Minister Paetongtarn was recently asked whether these frequent interjections by her father bother her.
เราดูซีเรียสไหมคะ ไม่ค่ะอะไรที่ดีจริงเราตัวตนก็เรื่องหนึ่งนะคะตัวตนเราคิดว่าเราก็มีตัวตนของเราแต่ว่าอะไรที่เป็นประโยชน์กับประเทศชาติเราคงไม่เอาตัวตนเราไปขวางอ๋อถ้าแบบฉันไม่ได้หน้าฉันไม่ทำแบบนี้มันก็ไม่ใช่อะค่ะมันต้องเป็นสิ่งที่ว่าทำแล้วเกิดประโยชน์กับประชาชนจริงถ้าเราคนที่ขึ้นอยู่ในตำแหน่งแล้วทุกคนมัวแต่พูดว่าถ้าฉันไม่ได้หน้าฉันไม่ทำมันไม่ต้องมีอะไรทำกันแล้วมันก็จะแย่นะทุกคนมันอะไรความคิดที่ดีก็ทำนะคะ
The Paetongtarn government is fighting against a weak economy, which only grew 2.5% last year, missing its central bank's forecast of 2.7% and trailing behind many of its ASEAN neighbors. Her Pheu Thai party's flagship campaign promise, the 10,000 baht cash handout, has now seen a staggered release instead of going out to all intended 50 million recipients at once in hopes to boost consumption. Other promises, such as constitutional reforms, household debt consolidation, and minimum wage raise, are taking longer than they anticipated. One of the few things that is going well is tourism, with arrival numbers almost back to pre-pandemic levels at 35.5 million visitors last year and a revenue coming in at $50 billion. It's with this mixed report card that Prime Minister Paetongtarn is going into the no confidence vote. Now, Parliament will vote on her at the end of the debate. A simple majority is needed for her to stay in office. On paper, the government coalition has a comfortable majority of almost 2/3 in the chamber, but this is a coalition of former rivals to her party and Thaksin, and there have been frictions and political disagreements between Pheu Thai and its second biggest partner, the Boon Chai Thai party. However, this uneasy alliance is expected to hold together for this vote at least. In fact, no prime minister has ever failed a no confidence vote in the history of Thai politics. But this is the first time since the 2023 elections that this government is being grilled and that this prime minister is in the hot seat. And even if Ms. Paetongtarn survives the no confidence vote, the opposition wants to make sure that it will leave a mark on her, her government, and maybe even her father. Saksit Sarasombat, CNA Bangkok.